This video is the next part of my 1 year in the Netherlands series, and here I'll be talking about getting used to the transportation system in the Netherlands. And there are a few things about the transportation system in the Netherlands that I had to get used to that I wasn't used to before. And the first part is that there were some transportation mediums that I had never heard of, or I wasn't used to, or I have never been in one before. Now, I've been in a bus before, I've been in a car before, I haven't been in the train before, but of course I know how trains look like. I know what a boat is, I know what a ship is, but yeah, there were some names I wasn't familiar with when I came in the Netherlands. Like number one, I know there is a train, but then there is also a metro. What is the difference between a metro and a train? And then I know what a bus is, but then there is tram. The tram is just like a bus. It's similar to a bus, but it has like its own tracks on the road, like its own parts, just the way trains have their own rails. There was that, and then here in Netherlands, there's also a lot of biking. People bike a lot. In fact, on most roads, you would find a part for bicycles. And then there is the ferry. I never knew what a ferry was, but a ferry goes on water. It's like, would you call that a boat or a very big ship? But yeah, that was like the first thing I had to get used to, that there were different forms of transportation. The second thing I had to get used to, or let me say the second thing that actually caught me by surprise, is that taxis here are super expensive. In fact, I would say they are the most expensive mode of transport, because in Nigeria, where I come from, I know that taxis are like cheap and motorcycles are like the next level. They are slightly more expensive, but then if you want to do things like Uber or Bolt, yeah, then it's like the level keeps going higher. When I came here, I can remember when I came out from the airport and I wanted to go to my Airbnb, and then I checked my Uber app, and on the Uber it was like 23 or 24 euros to my destination. And because my Uber app couldn't really work with my Nigerian account, I think I experienced some issues. But there was this taxi in front of the airport, and then when I went in and I was like, this is my destination, and they were like 50 euros, and I was like, what? 50 euros? And my Uber app shows 23 or 24 euros. And then I thought it was just like a one-time thing, but with several experiences that other people had, I realized that taxis are like super expensive. Of course, when you get the taxi, it's only you who is going to be in the taxi unless you're going with your friends, which is similar to the Uber or Bolt approach, but it's really expensive. So now I stay off taxis unless I'm probably stranded and I cannot use public transport. That's when I would go for Uber or Bolt. Else, public transport is like the cheapest mode of transport, and I mean that's actually obvious. It's public transport, less convenience, obviously. And I actually got a bike at the beginning of last year in January, but I didn't use that bike as much during that time. But I'll have a separate video where I talk about biking. The next thing I want to talk about is your credit card, or should I say your debit card for transportation. When I came here to the Netherlands, I learned that they have different cards for transportation. The one I got is the OV chip card, and the way this card works is that, you know, the buses, the metros, the trams, the trains, they all have systems where you can scan this card and you can use that for transportation. So it's like a debit card that you recharge. So basically you check in when you are going into the vehicle, whatever the vehicle is, and when you get to your destination, you check out, and then you are debited for the distance. So that was also something that was super new for me and I had to get used to. And generally, I actually like the transportation system in the Netherlands because, you know, you have systems that shows you when the next train is coming, when the next metro is coming, the destination of the metro, when the next bus is coming, the destination of the bus. So those are like things that of course I never experienced in Nigeria, and then I had to get used to it. I remember a few times where I actually missed my bus, or I entered the wrong metro and I got to a particular point before I realized, oh my god, I'm in the wrong metro. This is not going where I expected to go. So there's pretty much more to the transportation system in the Netherlands than I have mentioned in this video. I just mentioned few things, but of course there is a lot. But I just wanted to also add that to my 1 year in the Netherlands series. And in the next video, I'll be talking about my little biking experience in the Netherlands.